I'm Terry Franklin. Today is April 19th. 233 years ago on this date, as reported by Emerson, noted philosopher and opium smoker, the embattled farmers stood and fired the shot heard around the world. A metaphorical shot in defense of liberty was fired recently, just a mile up the road at UMass. You may have noticed that Mike Gargano is gone. He had the get tough, hard line approach. He tried to turn that place into an amalgam of a police state and a kindergarten. But college students are not little children, and American students and American citizens are not cowardly in the face of authority. They're eager to defend their constitutional rights. We all know what was going on. Invasion of your homes, snoops, surveillance cameras everywhere, undercover pizza delivery cops, random dog patrols, darkly clothed cops on bicycles. They glide up to you as silent as ghosts to let you know you're always being watched and you should always be afraid and intimidated. The man was so arrogant he wouldn't even meet with student leaders. Their grievances have no merit, he said. He ended up uniting everyone. Left and right, rich and poor, black and white, scholar and jock, even human and zombie. All those UMass people got together and they ousted him. The world is full of Puritans, prudes, and prohibitionists like Gargano. Bitter moralists obsessed with running your life for you because you're not competent to do it yourself. Threats to liberty don't end when you step off campus. Attempts were made this year to suppress the rally. We had to force them to back down on that too, by standing up to the town officials. They may have backed off on some of the most egregious Fourth and First Amendment violations, but again, only because we stood firm. The tactics of the authorities are always changing. I can't fail to notice that people were being arrested for pot all the time. 8 in 1 week, just 2 weeks ago. Certainly no one can fail to notice the state police squad that was brought into town the last couple weekends. Many of you no doubt saw them in action last night. Who knows what they're planning for tonight? But we all know that someone's going to be made to suffer. They're out there hunting beer. And for most of you, beer is no less illegal than marijuana. Idiotic drinking age. So what's to be done? Well, don't forget to vote. That goes without saying. The prudish busybodies in the world, they never forget to vote. There's a marijuana decriminalization referendum on the ballot in November. Some say it's only a small step, but it's a step in the right direction. Make it your duty to vote for it. Don't fail to be registered to vote when November comes around. Keith McCormick spoke a little earlier. Bob Underwood is here. He's another candidate. There's several others here collecting signatures in the back. Hopefully they'll be up speaking here during the day. It's a presidential election year. The two parties don't appeal to you. Remember, there's always third parties. Oh, and back to that CAT prohibition squad. What a make-work scheme for the cops. There's a referendum to repeal the Massachusetts income tax. Meditate on the waste of police and prison industries when you consider that proposal. Join the Cannabis Reform Coalition. It's the largest and most active student civil rights organization in this town. You should feel lucky that they're out there working on your behalf. But even better, get off your rear end and become one of them. Evil triumphs when the good do nothing. There's been a lot of talk about Cop Watch and Campus Watch. They also deserve your praises and involvement. Get involved in all the organizing going on today. The mission of Cop Watch and Campus Watch is righteous, but if I may make a parallel to an earlier civil rights movement, it is important that we go further. Rosa Parks was arrested for sitting on that bus. It was important that she had due process. It was important that the cops didn't work her over, beat her up, abuse her rights. All that was important, vitally important. But maybe she shouldn't have been busted in the first place. We need to watch the police. We don't want them to do anything illegal, but we also don't want them to do anything immoral. There are immoral laws in this country, evil laws. About a year ago, there was an occurrence at UMass. People stopped living in fear. Students protested a bust in progress. You may not have heard about it. It was largely played down in the press. But about 100 people spontaneously gathered in a dorm where a bust was going down. The police ordered them to leave. They stayed. They loudly and defiantly said to the cops, "Shame on you! Shame on you!" The police like to operate in the shadows. They need to have the light of day focused on them. If you see something wrong happening, get witnesses. Draw a crowd, holler for backup. Get on your cell phone to your friends. When the cops take somebody away, they should be made to feel guilty. Shame on you. The victim of oppression has no reason to feel they've done anything wrong. The cops who need to be made to feel the guilt. That was the way of Gandhi and Martin Luther King. Maybe we can reach them, a couple of them anyway. Maybe they didn't join the force to hurt people. Maybe they joined to help people. Not everyone in uniform enjoys being a bully. They didn't realize they had to enforce the dictates of the busybodies. Maybe we can get them to quit, to see it as a way of maintaining their honor. Speaking of honor, don't snitch. If you get busted, don't get busted. Don't open the door to cops or strangers. But if you do get busted, they'll take you down to the station and they'll lean on you. They'll lean on you hard. They can be scariest. The cops are insidious, adept at psychological manipulation. They'll try to get you to rat on your friends. Don't do it. You must suffer whatever abuse they heap on you, whatever trials and tribulations they impose. Take it with dignity and with honor. Watch how Heather, the MC here today, did in that famous video. If you betray your friends, you've thrown away your honor. You'll regret it. You won't be able to look at yourself in the mirror. No one will ever trust you. Hey, would you ever trust yourself? What they are doing is evil. The Garganos of UMass and everywhere. On and off campus, officials are engaged in ending the encroachment of freedom, human rights, and American values. The whole situation should make you angry. Very angry. But be responsible in your anger. Channel it, work hard, dedicate yourself to rolling back injustice, making the world a better place. There are millions of us, there's no reason to live in fear. Nonviolence is the key. Nothing pleases the powers that be more than being able to show films of students acting like hooligans. But peaceful protest is powerful. It's the kind of power that allows good to triumph over evil. Whatever protest or political action you engage in, be peaceful. Be peaceful, be strong, be resolute. But like those embattled farmers, don't back down, don't give in. Thank you. Looks like we got Dana Beal for something really quick.
Thanks a lot for coming today. This is one of 226 cities that are demonstrating for marijuana liberation in the next month, roughly. Most of them are doing it 2 Saturdays from now, May 3rd. And I'm here to invite you since you've already done it in Amherst, to come on down to New York City. Come on down to Tompkins Park for, I think it's something like the 36th annual marijuana parade in New York City.